What up?
Well, hello. How you doing?
Well, hello, good looking sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I am ecstatic for this episode.
Yeah, I'm
as you
pretty
may
excited.
have guessed.
Yeah, for sure.
And thank you to you, and thanks to Joe for having Jay on as a guest prior to and introducing me to this world, because I have watched it and rewatched it, and
Told you.
it's damn good.
I told you.
Yeah, it's damn good. So without further ado, man, let's just jump right in and bring Jay in and
sure.
get this rolling.
Let's do it.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, rock stars?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah, I'm super stoked to be with you guys. Yeah, when Sean sent me the email, it's just like, dude, yeah, I saw you on Joe's show. And Sean, I checked out some of your other podcasts, and I was just like, dude, this guy just looks too freaking cool for school. This guy's gonna be awesome to talk to. It's just like
Sean is great.
Yeah, I started diving deeper and deeper, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so much freaking fun.
Oh yeah, and that was the thing with me, because I'd seen you on Any Last Words with Joe, and she had mentioned in the show, yeah, like if you're watching now, if you want to duck out and watch just the first episode and come back, like it's only a few minutes. And I did that, and I was blown away and deliberately trolled Any Last Words the next day for your name in the comments, just so I can message you and be like, man, this is incredible. Please,
man. Yeah,
come on our show and talk.
So, if anyone, I gotta say this, I mean straight out, Jay has a project that he's doing. It's a mini-series on YouTube, and it is Ithaca, the mini-series. And if you have not seen it, do yourself a favor, because it's been quite a while in the cinema world where I have watched something and it made me uneasy. And the first time I seen the first episode, let alone kept on watching the rest,
yeah.
Last night, I was like, what the hell did I just hear? I was expecting friggin' zombies to crawl their way through my hallway, and it was great. And the lack of dialogue.
Yeah.
It was literally all about the method acting, the story, and
visual storytelling, yeah.
Oh my God. And the sound and that you... Oh, and the music score and everything was deadly. It was awesome.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Like, it was one of those things where we really, I love film. I love all aspects of it, and I'm started out as an actor, but as we, as an actor, you can't always expect people to just give you the roles that you want. You can't, you have to climb up the ladder, and it takes a lot of time, and there's really no gamble. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to play whatever roles that you want to. So I said, I'm more of a proponent of, if you're not seeing the work that you want to be in, you have to create it yourself. So I said, okay, well, I'm just going to teach myself just every single aspect of filmmaking, and I want to do something that I can do with my wife. She's an actress as well, and we just wanted to do something that would continue to evolve as we were growing in our relationship, as our minds were growing, as we started picking up new information, as I was growing as a husband, a father, a man. It was something that we just wanted to create as like an epic that would grow with us, a mini series that we could keep doing. And so it's loosely inspired by the Odyssey, and that being just an Odyssey, that being such an epic, we were just like, all right, let's just create work for ourselves that, creates opportunities for other people and feels like an epic for us. And we've just done the whole thing with zero budget, just because we wanted to focus on every single aspect of filmmaking. How do that didn't involve dialogue. To appreciate like how you create a story just with the sound, how you create a story just through transitions and editing and visual storytelling and just the nuances with your body. So that's what like really got us going.
And it shows that you are very passionate about what you do. Like it bleeds through your work, and even the fact that there wasn't a budget, you have mastered that craft. You can tell that you've mastered your craft to a point where you can do something without a budget, but make it look like, yeah, there was definitely a few bucks thrown in on this. You know what I mean?
That was actually one of the very few questions that I actually had ingrained in my head for this. I needed to ask what the budget was.
Yeah, so nothing.
You have it.
So you got to go over to YouTube and watch Ithaca. I mean, anyone that's watching right now or that will be watching after, because you will see what we're talking about. If you haven't seen it, you're going to see it and you're going to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's damn good. It was refreshing.
Yeah, so I mean, it was something where we wanted to use initially just the free resources that we had in front of us. Just like, okay, who are the people that we know who are willing to spend time on just a zero budget piece that are passionate about this story, who are just like, yeah, Jay, we totally get your vision and we want to help you just kind of like elevate it further and further and further. So we could not have done this without the production team, Everything's Fire, and that's headed by Doug Henderson and Matt Neese. So the first chapter, it just started out as just me, my wife, and Doug and Matt holding two cameras. So that was that first chapter. Yeah. And then from there, it's like people started hearing more about the story and wanted to be involved. And, that's what we wanted to create, something that, like, we're fine with it having humble beginnings. Yeah. But it's more exciting to see that the progression of the story, it's growing deeper, that it's getting more technical, that people are now starting to jump on board. And like, now that we're at a point where 7 years later, it's taken that long because, life happens. That we were able to show it to Eduardo Sanchez during this COVID time. And he was like, yeah, man, this is just like, I'm totally on board. Let's see what we can do. I want to be on as an executive producer. Let's see what we can do about, getting season 2 made and having it made with, the budget that you want and getting it in front of people,
You want to let people know who Sanchez is?
Yeah, so Eduardo Sanchez is, I guess you could say, kind of one of the godfathers of found footage, because found footage horror films. He made the Blair Witch Project. He was one of the co-directors of the Blair Witch Project with, I think it was Dan Merrick. And Eduardo, him just being like, having his roots be in guerrilla filmmaking, his roots being just eating and breathing film as much as possible. He just got it and was like, yeah, dude, I'm on board. Let's break some legs. Let's see what we can do. And that's just like, it's awesome to, like, when you have that kind of validation with you, it's, we already knew that we had something that we were passionate about, but during this COVID time, we were finally able to finish shooting the last few scenes, finish editing, finish scoring it. And, one of the first things that he wanted to do was he just finished wrapping up something with a horror series that he was doing for Quibi. And Quibi had just released in April or March or something like that. And he was like, yeah, dude, this is going to be perfect for them. Let me go ahead and what's season 2? What's season 2? Can you pitch me season 2 and the further seasons? So I was like, holy shit, I got to write something. So I wrote down, so I finally chiseled out all my ideas for it and sent it over to him. And he was like, oh yeah, dude, this is fucking killer. So we sent all of our stuff over to Quibi. Unfortunately they weren't able, they said they loved it. They loved the direction of it. Unfortunately it's a hard sell for them because, one, I don't have any star power. It's like I don't have it. Yeah, I'm not on the same level as, say, Kevin Hart, who's kind of like Quibi. Their platform was, okay, we need big stars and we want to put them on like small screens, but they wanted to do that 10-minute format. So they said, look, we love this, but it's a tough sell at the moment. And Ed and I were just like, all right, no problem. We still feel like we have something that, like, as long as you're passionate about what you're doing, as long as you're willing to just, like, bring your blood, sweat, and tears to it, that Game 7 intensity with what you do, like that's what it's all about. You know, it doesn't matter who likes it or who doesn't like it, but we'll find a way to be able to share it with the people that, you know, that just that appreciate it, that have, you know, are in the same wavelength. And we wanted to make it available to everyone. So we didn't, you know, we just said, okay, let's just put it on YouTube. Everyone's binging stuff right now. And, you know, they'll see humble beginnings, and then they'll just see that something that's like constantly growing, you know, and that's what makes it so much fun. I
mean, I had to apologize in Messenger in our group chat for having a fanboy moment when I found Nick Sanchez had something to do with this.
Yeah, like that
Jay's like, dude, it's okay.
Yeah, man, he's a blast. You know, to like be around people who just like have a heart for something like that. Yeah. It just like, you know, one of the first times that I had communicated with him, we did VHS 2 together. So he had a bit.
A good friend of mine, LC Holt, played Kyle in that.
Yeah. So in VHS 2, he directed the Ride in the Park, the zombie biker. So I'm the zombie biker in that, and that was the first time that I actually met him. And you know, he contacted me on email this one time. We were chatting, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm writing this film. You know, I think I want you to be like the villain in this one movie. This wasn't VHS 2." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like, let's just fucking play." And he just was like, "Yeah, man, it's all about the playing." And like when he was talking like that, you could just see how enthusiastic he is, that it just wasn't about this, you know. Yeah, it's a business, but he really wanted to just have that same kind of inspiration and play. And I was like, okay, well, this guy is just solid. You know, there's no pretension there. It's just fun, and it's encouraging to see that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, working with people like that is going to make things smoother, more fun, more interesting. The end product is just going to roll out much better.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things where like I'm, you know, I like to pursue things that are meaningful as opposed to things that are expedient. And I'm well aware that, you know, look, just in this business, it's like doing all of these things. It's a marathon. You know, so it's I just appreciate it for being a marathon. I appreciate that I'm constantly going to be growing, and it's that the story is going to grow, and that just makes it fun.
That's awesome.
It certainly does. And
you have a little comment here from Aaron Struviant. He does a show, Horror with Sir Sturdy, and he said he's going to have to ask Jay on his show. So
you got to do it.
If
you don't mind, I'll get Aaron in touch with you.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
And
guy, man.
After the show today as well, we'll set up a link in the comments section. It'll bring you directly to the series Ithaca on YouTube. And
yes,
you need to check it out. You will be well impressed.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sean Smithson, Sean, buddy, if you're still watching, he asked if he could post a link. And yes, you can. Feel free to post a link in the comment section. And Joe Gonzalez just said hello.
Yeah, Joe.
We all love Joe. We treat her as one of our own. She's our like a sister from another mister.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, she was a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah,
she is. Awesome. Sean, so Sean, he can't wait to check it out. Yeah, so when you do, Sean, drop a link for Ithaca in the comments if you can, bud.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, like, so Ithaca is it's 4 chapters. They're all about 5 minutes long. It's super, super short. Like the whole runtime for season 1 is about maybe like 27 minutes. So it's such a quick watch. And one of the things that we were trying to do for it was we were really trying to just like earn your attention for every single second as best we could, you know, and that just
mission accomplished.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So you know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, yeah. So like the hopes for season 2 is to be able to like do like, you know, full on 30 to 45 minute to 50-minute episodes, and we're actually hoping to actually film it in Bali, Indonesia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because that's you know, so you know, people who are watching it, they'll think it's like, okay, well, I get it. We've seen like the zombie thing before, and then out of nowhere, there's just kind of like, okay, well, I haven't seen that before. Yeah. a lot of that inspiration is from Balinese mythology. And I grew up in Indonesia, Jakarta, and Bali. Like I said, it's just like it's an intense island. You know, it's a small island where everyone there is just an artist. You know, from just rooted in their blood, and everything that they do with their art, they're just like, okay, this is just an act of service, of acknowledging the gods that I serve, and I'm going to do it with excellence. So to like have an entire island just breathing that, I'm just like, I wanted to get involved with the mythology, involved with the artist more, and just to appreciate like what these guys do.
So is that a little bit of a clue on what season 2 is going to give us?
You better believe it. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Season 2 is wild, man. You know, so I've been
Can't wait.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of interviews, a lot of different interviews with people who are just like absolute masters in their field for a lot of different topics that are going to play into season 2. And just, you know, I just love learning new things. So when you're around these guys who are just like masters in all this kinds of stuff, you're just like, it's humbling, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just an opportunity. Yeah, you know, it's just an opportunity to just hear more people's stories, you know, and that's what it's all about. Just being able to just like really engage with more people.
So you wore several hats on this project, man. You acted, you directed, you wrote, you wrote the score for it. Edited it.
Editing. Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's
like that's a big undertaking, man. Like, and anyone, I mean, me and Sean both do, you know, shorts and stuff, and we know what work goes into it.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it's really easy to just, you know, binge watch through a show or watch a movie and just completely forget about like, oh my gosh, the blood that goes into doing something like that, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Really is. And you know, I got to tell you, like, as an actor, it is so easy to just like walk on set and just that everything's just revolving around you. You know, everyone like applauds you when you've been wrapped, and then you just kind of like go home. But like, here are people who are just like there hours before you are like working their asses off, and hours after you've left, just like focusing on their way of telling the story from their perspective, from the audio standpoint, from the editing, from all of that. And it's just like, it can really be easy as an actor to indulge in, you know, the grandeur, the spectacle of you. So being able to like start from like the very, very beginning of just, all right, how do I tell a fucking story? How do I tell a story in 2 minutes? How do I tell a story in 3 minutes? Then 5 minutes? Okay. How the hell do I film it? But like, how do I film it in a way that like really has the audience feel something that's visceral, you know, have their heart pounding, to have their emotions really being pulled? And that's the thing that I love about the horror genre, you know, like that's one of those, it's just one of those genres that really tries to get the audience to feel something visceral and physical in the moment. And that involves every single aspect of filmmaking, just the sound, the music, or the silence, the way the camera moves. And it's just, I love that genre, and I love the horror genre, the horror genre and the adventure genre. And this is just like an opportunity to just like dive headfirst into every single aspect and wear everyone's shoes at what, you know, everyone's hat at one point, and just be like, all right, I fucking get it. you know,
that's right.
And I'm going to think twice before I try to, you know, criticize a film. You know, I'm just going to try to remember like the work that they do. You know,
that's right. And it also helps too for later on down the road, if you plan on becoming a director and you're actually, I have all this budget, I'm going to hire these people to do stuff. So with your editor, you can talk to them in their language, be able to say exactly what you need to do for blocking, for your lighting setup, for your cinematography. You could just talk to your crew. But and be able to have a conversation that you understand, instead of going, so just, you're my cinematographer, just, so do your thing. You know, just make it look good. Okay. Awesome.
Just make it better. You know,
just make it look better.
So did you use?
It looks good.
Yeah.
I would assume with like a no budget, you never use jibs or anything. Maybe you use like a steady cam or something, or was it all handheld?
For the most part, we had like a shoulder rig.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
I don't think at any point, and for the rest of it, it was just handheld. Yeah. So I don't think we even really there was only, I think, maybe 1 or 2 times that we actually put the camera on a tripod. And that was just because we filmed with 3 different cameras. So the first chapter was done with a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, 2 of them, because we were able to do just kind of like documentary style. And it was such an immediate scene where I wanted to jump back and forth between the 2 characters or just focus on one character. But then all the flashbacks, a lot of the flashbacks were done with a little Canon T3i, which is just like, it's like a $300 camera. It's like, and I had that for a while, but like, it's such a nifty little dude, I love.
I've got a T5i, and Sean's got the Sony Alpha.
Yeah.
I've got the A6500 Sony
A65. Yeah. Okay.
It's, mirrorless. It's nice.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things, just like with those little cameras, like they, you got to give them credit. Like some of the footage that you get from outside is just beautiful. And
it is.
Like with those in particular, like, I don't know if you guys had a lot of home videos of you, like from back in a kid, with where you just like hear the audio being like blown out by the wind, but like whenever you're watching it, like when you hear that audio just being blown out, you're just like, dude, I totally remember like how freaking windy it was that day.
Yes.
Yeah,
so for sure. Like that was just kind of something I wanted to do just with the flashbacks, just kind of bring it back to just the visceral things that you remember from just like those old home videos.
Something that was familiar.
Yeah. But also film it in a way where it doesn't like feel like a home video. Like it's visceral. Like it's done in a way where it almost feels like a memory. I mean, and they are, but like very ethereal, like being able to flow in and out of focus and shooting into the sun. It's just I just dig that kind of storytelling. And then the chapters 2, 3, and 4 were all done with a red Raven. And that was something that our production team, Everything's Fire, that they had from like all the commercial work that they do. Like, to have these 2 guys over at Everything's Fire just be like, yes, we totally get what you're trying to do. And, we love that you're so persistent about this, that you just keep coming back to it. And that's why we're willing to like drop everything that we're doing and just like, let's go film in the fucking snow.
That's right. And it looked fantastic. Did you have to do much color correction in your editing, or were all your shots just kind of just from lighting and from just, was everything natural, or was there more color correction to do while you were editing?
Yeah, there was some color correction, especially in that 4th chapter, just because in the snow chapter, just because the sun was just going down so fast. We only had about like 2-3 hours to shoot that scene before it was just completely dark. So yeah, there's some color correcting. To be honest, with a lot of the flashback stuff that was done on the Canon T3i, I love that thing so much. I don't think I had to color correct any of those Canon T3i shots. It was just all on the camera. I freaking love that. I love it, and at one point we were going to be doing the whole thing on the Canon T3i, and just working with Doug and Matt, they're just like, actually, I think we can actually elevate this further, so we actually filmed with the the 2 pocket, the Blackmagics for that first chapter, and then so on and so forth.
They're good little cameras, man. The Blackmagic. And
yes, I am, Ron.
Wow, he knew what Turbo Yugen was, or Turbo Negro was. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. They're a punk rock band.
So this is so super unprofessional, but my daughter is right on the other side of the door, and I have to give her a little bit of juice.
Okay, that's no problem. Yeah,
we all have kids, man.
That's right. This would actually be a good time to play the trailer for Ithaca, if you have it lined up there, Carl.
Do you want to play it right now, or you want to wait for Jay so he can talk about it?
Okay, yeah, we can as well.
We'll tear Ron a new asshole for a moment.
Okay.
So Ron, how are you tonight, buddy? And yes, Sean is wearing a Turbo Negro shirt, and I am uberly impressed that he knew. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Technically, it's a Turbo Jugend shirt. However, yes, it is a Turbo Negro shirt.
Yes.
If you really want to break it down.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry about that.
Oh,
that's okay.
All good. Like we're all dads here, man.
We were just pointing out that our buddy Ron knew what kind of shirt Sean was wearing, and now he's saying, "I know things."
He does know things. Yeah.
Ron, you know too much.
Yeah.
Knows things. There you go.
So we're gonna jump in and play the trailer. I do have a couple of stills, but I'll bring those up after. We'll get into the trailer. I do have one question before we get to the trailer. Talking about the way that you were filming stuff. Now maybe I dreamt this. I don't know. The church scene where you're walking through with the lantern.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of lighting were you using there?
Just the lantern.
I thought that. I was looking at it and like dissecting it, and I was like, dude, that's literally just the lantern.
Yeah, it was really incredible what we were able to do with that lantern. And I think there was only a few times when we had a lighting stand. It was very, very rare. I know we had a lighting stand in probably in chapter 3 in the stairwell scene to just kind of mimic what the lantern was doing.
Yep.
And it was very rare. I can only think of maybe 2 times, and it was just it was very, very subtle whenever we'd use it. But like that lantern was it was badass.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
And knowing now that like you didn't even backlight anything or bounce light or whatever, it was literally all just in the actor with the lantern.
Yeah.
That's fucking chef's kiss, man. That's like, I'm loving it.
And I also had a quote unquote technical question as well. In the first chapter, did you add Foley, or were there lav mics picking up on like the grass, especially like when your wife is crawling on the grass? Was that a boom mic or a lav, or was it Foley, or both, or?
So we didn't wear any lavs. I think that was just, I know we had a microphone plugged into the camera, but, we weren't doing any sort of like ADR or anything or Foley afterwards. It was just, that was all just,
what
Devin,
the camera had picked up.
the camera was picking up too.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
And the thing is, like, it's also just like very, very, there are some subtle bits in there where like you actually hear the camera, actually kind of hear some of the camera equipment just kind of rustling around. Just because our DP Matt Neese was just trying to find an angle to move around, and Devin's crawling towards him, and he was just kind of shifting around. But you can actually hear like some of the equipment just like bumping into the microphone and the camera. But I kept that in there because it's such a subtle audio thing.
Yeah.
Of just like kind of conveying that the person is trying to get out of the fucking way of this thing that's crawling, and it's just like it's amazing what audio can do to to build a scene for you.
Well,
and now I got to go back and watch episode 1.
That's the question that I wanted to ask with the audio, because I honestly wasn't sure if it was if you were wearing lavs, or if it was Foley, or you had a boom kind of sticking over you guys, something. But I was like, wow, that's even. Yeah, I'm glad I asked that question.
Loving the process. What is the part of you hate the most, and why? Is it post-production?
The part you hate the most.
Leave it to Ron.
Yeah. Gosh, post-production sucks.
Oh.
I like color correcting. I hate that with a passion. It was especially painful for all of the snow scenes, just because with all of that white and with the sun changing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just difficult getting our white balance and making sure that everything matches. That was just an absolute nightmare for me. So hate that with a bloody passion. When it came to scoring the music, I enjoyed that up to a point. Like, one of the things that's so frustrating was like, so for every single bit, like I'm starting fresh. I'm starting back at the drawing board, trying to learn everything. Yeah. So like once you feel like, okay, like I've kind of mastered this whole editing thing, it's just back to the drawing board. Okay, now I have to learn how to do ADR or how to do Foley or to do whatever. So it's just like, it's constantly learning. And when it came to scoring, I didn't know like how I wanted to create the music or how I wanted something to sound. And we were using, for the whole thing, we would just try to use free available resources as much as possible. So for the music, it's all created on GarageBand.
Wow.
And a lot of the Foley was just done just using iPhone.
Oh, wow.
And editing software is HitFilm Express. I highly recommend checking that one out. It's completely free, and what you can do with it is just phenomenal. But with scoring it was like, okay, well, I've got all of these fucking dials in front of me for, and all these different freaking options for instruments, and now I can figure out how I can manipulate sounds, but now I have to listen to every single sound possible.
Yeah.
And try to find the perfect one. So it was that. So that's frustrating.
But it was, man, very well done with the score in it too. Especially like it kind of grips you and brings you in. And it's almost like that the score is its own character in that series, I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings the emotion out too, right? And it's fucking nailed it.
Something I was really trying to convey, especially with that first chapter, was like the first chapter is, I think it's just 2 instruments, because I really wanted one to like represent his character and then one to represent the wife's character, and to just have them play together. As it goes on, you're going to hear instruments of the gamelan, which is it's an Indonesian, instruments, and as a lot of the story is taken from Balinese mythology. I just wanted to have that in there, and I tried to keep it as subtle as possible, but to really have it be, just as you said, a character of its own.
That's right.
So here's the question now. Season 1 was the zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 is going to be different. Season 3 is probably going to be different again. As you go on, though, when we get to the final like end series of Ithaca season, is there going to be a tie back, like from all of it tying together somehow?
Yeah, well, essentially what I'm hoping to do with season 2 is, so I was a big fan of The Haunting on Hill House, like Mike Flanagan's Haunting on Hill House. That's on Netflix.
Great show.
I just saw someone put down Mystics in Bali. Yeah, absolutely.
That was Ron, yeah.
Yeah, so Ron, if you check out Mystics in Bali, you're going to see a lot of nods in there, and you're going to have a head start on things that are going to happen in season 2. Season 2 is going to be a little bit of a kind of a prequel, so it kind of shows, more like a prologue, kind of everything that gets the characters to this point, but it's also going to be weaving in the everything that's just happened after season 1, and those stories are going to weave in and out of each other, and that's the kind of like storytelling that I just think is really, really intriguing.
Yes.
And that I thought they just did an amazing job with in The Haunting of Hill House. Just the way they're able to attach the present and the past, 2 timelines for multiple characters, but then have them all weave in and out of each other based off of a theme or an object or a sound. And it's just like, it's impeccable. I love that. And I just think I think that's super, super cool. And that's just kind of something I want to explore.
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah, man. That's great.
We want to roll into the trailer, and we'll get Jay to talk a little bit about some little flash scenes that may pop up here if he wants to.
Okay.
Anyway, folks, this is the Ithaca trailer, and I can almost guarantee you're going to go over to YouTube and watch this after. Yeah. So here we go.
Now, if that trailer
Makes me happy.
does not make you want to go watch it, then I don't know what kind of genre you're into. And hands down, Mike Flanagan is the GOAT right now.
Is the GOAT right now.
So the cool thing about Mike Flanagan is that so he's from, I think he was originally from the DC/Maryland area. So I'm in Virginia, which is not too far. And his brother James Flanagan was doing a lot of theater in DC, and that's actually how I started and seeing some of the plays that he was in. But he and I actually did several stage readings together. Him and his brother.
Yeah.
And then, I started seeing, him in Mike Flanagan's work. And then it just, connected the dots. I was like, holy crap, this guy's your brother. That's amazing.
Right? Yeah, I like what you did, man. Like, it's really, and I mean, I can't stress this enough, really fucking refreshing after seeing Ithaca. Because no, you can have $1 million, $10 million, or $100 million go make a film and rely on all the CGI and big dollar things that all these big studios have, and it might be okay. But when somebody can do something with no budget and bring it back to the way the film was years ago, where less is more, and you're getting a full fucking serving watching it, it's like, oh my god, I was grinning ear to ear every episode watching that.
Thanks.
And doing it with little to no dialogue, with visual.
This is what I mean. Less is more.
Storytelling. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. So, one of the cool things that, so I don't know if you've heard of this guy, or heard of this project, but it was a huge inspiration for me. I had heard myths and stories about this guy. It was 2 or 3 kids from back in the 80s who decided to do a shot-for-shot remake of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard about that.
No, I haven't.
It was just 3 kids, just inside their mother's basement, lighting their basement up in fire. And it took them, I think, 10 plus years to try to film the whole thing, shot for shot. A lot of it they were doing from memory. They would just go to the movie theater and just watch it and just try to remember what was happening. They tried to get in touch with people to see what the script was or what the storyboards were. And this is back in the 80s, and they're all filming, with their little camcorder. Yeah. And these are middle school kids. And then somehow Eli Roth managed to get a hold of it and play it in this, at several festivals. But no one was able to get a hold of the actual tape that had been done. So just you'd hear about it. Like, you hear about those kids who did the art thing?
Like an urban legend.
Right?
Urban legend. These kids who had done it shot for shot for a decade plus. And a documentary was released on Netflix not too long ago about that story, about what they had done. And they filmed everything except for one scene. It was the scene where Indiana Jones is like on top of the airplane and below the airplane having a fight with that, the big Nazi guy. That was the only thing that they hadn't filmed. So the whole film, this whole documentary, was about them gathering together to finally film that last bit. Now that they all have families, back in they finally managed to get them all back together again, and they find someone who's able to we'll give you a budget so you can blow up this freaking plane and have pyrotechnics and such. And, I'd known about that film for such a long time and had never seen it. And I would post about it. I'd be like, look, this is just such an inspiration for me that these guys would just fucking do it. And then out of nowhere, my buddy was like, he just commented. It's like, Eric Zala, looks like you've got a new fan. It's like, Eric Zala. You mean the guy from the movie, the guy who actually did it? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm friends with him on Facebook. Are you freaking kidding me? So he actually got me in touch with him. And, I just had to, I wrote him. I said, look, dude, you've been such an inspiration for me as I've been doing my own miniseries. I can't believe you were able to do all of this stuff from back in the 80s, just for from memory, shot for shot. Where do I find the actual film? And he sent me to his website, and I was like, holy crap, there it is. Immediately ordered it, and I've just been watching it nonstop. And you have to see it, you guys.
I have to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you look up the Raiders adaptation, or I think it's Zayla Tours, I think that's right, or Raiders Guys.
Okay.
That's just something. I love those kinds of stories. I love those people who just live and breathe film. That's just it's adrenaline for you,
It's
Robert Rodriguez as well. He was an inspiration of mine as well.
Gosh, yeah.
He was. I have a book of his downstairs called Rebel Without a Crew. And if you
that's so awesome.
If you haven't read it, I'd highly recommend it. For sure.
Gosh, yeah. I'm gonna write that one down right now, actually.
Yeah. It's a quick read, and it's the last part of the book is a copy of the final draft of the script for El Mariachi that he actually had written. But it's almost a journal of him going through it's almost like a diary of everything that he had done that day.
Wow.
What he needed to do as he's writing this script, and what he's trying to do to figure out how to make it happen with nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And then just watching it all come together, and then the last section of the book is the final copy of the script that they used for El Mariachi, and it's just bam. It's an incredible book.
Gosh,
I haven't read that either. I got to check that out. Yeah, I'll grab it next time I'm into your place, Sean.
Amazing title too. Obviously, Rebel Without a Crew.
Just to think about what that guy has been able to do for film too. Just the way he shot things. It's just I love that. These people with such humble beginnings, just becoming such trendsetters. It's just
one of my favorites of all time, Roger Corman.
Yes.
Yeah.
The godfather of guerrilla warfare filmmaking.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If people think you need to have the best of gear to make a movie, you don't. You need to have passion.
Yeah.
If equipment is holding you back, that's an excuse.
Yeah, it really is. And especially during this time, because one, equipment is so freaking accessible right now. Yeah. And, I heard another filmmaker put it this way, that the biggest threat to the Hollywood industry right now is just the stupid world has an iPhone, who's recording him getting, kicked in the balls and posting it online and getting thousands of views,
That's right.
Everyone has just you can, their own view of being able to tell their story just in their hand. It's just amazing. So it's one, there's no excuse, but two, it's also exciting that everyone has a chance, an opportunity right now to just find what their footing is, or find what their point of view of how they want to tell their story, it's you gotta hit record. You can't wait on the equipment or the money to come in. You just got.
No, what was that film that won? Fuck me, I don't know what award it was. It was done on a cell phone. What was it?
Yeah,
Tangerine.
Tangerine. Yeah. I mean, they won a fairly big award for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even going back to Sanchez. I mean, when they did the Blair Witch, it was handheld.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's what some people love the film, some people hate it. The thing that I love about it is just, the fact that I wouldn't say he started the genre. People might say what was it? Was it Cannibal Holocaust? I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, some people say that was kind of the original found footage horror film, but the fact that this film almost created a genre or started a movement for independent filmmakers to say, okay, I don't have a budget or I might not have all the resources, but I have a way of jumping into an exciting genre and learning filmmaking just with this found footage concept. Like, I think that's like that's just fucking badass, you know?
Yeah.
And to see that it's evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one fun fact with El Mariachi that I did not know until I looked more into Robert Rodriguez. He had no boom mic, no sound at all when he was filming that entire thing.
God.
So he filmed everything, but then he obviously added all of his own Foley, but had to get every actor to come into ADR all of their lines over over the entire film, like, because he's all like, well, don't have a mic, so this is how we're gonna have to do it.
We're gonna make it work somehow. There was actually so Vin Diesel. So there was a book that came out. I want to say, I don't know, like early 90s, called Filmmaking at Used Car Prices. And essentially it was like, how do you make a film for the price of like a used car, like $2,000 bucks? Yeah. So Vin Diesel, before he became, Vin Diesel, had read that book and just decided to make his own 10-minute movie called, I forgot the name of it. Can't remember the name of it, but he made his own like 10-minute film about what it was like being a multi-ethnic actor and how much he hated that term, being a multi-ethnic actor. So it was all about him going to these auditions and them saying, all right, you're not, I don't know if you're quite African-American enough. Like, can you bust a rap for us? And
wow.
So he does it. And he does a rap, and it's like, it's great. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. They're like, dude, we love you, but you're just like, we're hoping to go for more of an African American guy. He goes to another audition, and they're like, all right, you're good, but I don't think if you're quite Latino enough or whatever. And then he finally goes to an audition where he just, busts out this monologue about like what it's like to just like, look, he just wants to be just known as an actor, not a multi-ethnic actor, just an actor. That my job is to tell the truth. My job is to tell this story to the best of my abilities and have that be true. Sure. And it was a 10-minute film. And it made it to the Cannes Film Festival, I think it was. And that's how Steven Spielberg saw him and was like, dude, you are in Saving Private Ryan. And so it's just like, it's cool to see that. It's great to see that. I love people able to just, carve their own path.
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
That's awesome.
And you seem to be well on your way to doing that yourself there, Jay.
Thanks,
really,
man.
though, man? No, but that's it. Like I was saying earlier, if you're passionate about something, and especially if you're able to project that passion, so your audience will pick up what you're laying down, for lack of better words. It really shows, and it's bleeding through. You're going places, my friend. I can see it.
Oh, guaranteed. When Sean told me that we were going to get you on, and then he's like, you have to watch Ithaca, obviously, to prepare for the show.
It was more like, dude.
It was like, dude, like you
need to watch this, dude.
Wake him up at night.
It was very good.
Yeah, dude.
I do have a question.
Did you watch me? Yes. Tap.
Pertaining to the actual name. I mean, like, where did the name Ithaca come from?
So, so it's loosely inspired by several different mythologies, and one of them being the Odyssey. So for me, like growing up, that was the story that I gravitated to the most. It was, as a kid, I had seen it as like, hey, this is what the alpha male is. He's not an everyman. He has people who are around him who are slowly being killed off. But, a weaker man would not be able to stand up to what he did. So I was like, all right, this is the alpha man. And his whole journey was to get back home from the Trojan War to his home in Ithaca, to his wife and to his kid. But as I started growing older and started diving into the story more and more, it took on a whole completely different tone. The first words in the in Ithaca, our miniseries is your and his name shall be oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot my title.
Okay.
But essentially, you'll be the son of pain. That's a name that you're going to earn in full. So let his name be Odysseus, which means son of pain. And essentially that was a name given to him by his grandfather. His grandfather said, I've been through many wars. I've had several people hate me. I've also had caused, I also have a lot of hatred towards other people. I've destroyed and created, and your name is going to be Odysseus. It's the son of pain. That's something you're going to earn in full. You're going to suffer through so much pain, but you're also going to cause so much and so many other people. And that kind of story about, this journey of this man who, is responsible for the deaths of so many people, even though he's on this noble journey trying to get home to his family, was something that just became more and more intriguing. So his journey back to home is essentially what this story is going to be, what Ithaca is going to be about. We're seeing this guy who is, going through this intense, PTSD. He's got a disjointed perception of what the past and what the present is. His view of things are very, very skewed because they're like very, very intense moments in his life that, we're getting glimpses of that he's just kind of instinctively reacting to and avoiding. But as we see at the very, very end of the chapter, at the end of chapter 4, he reconnects with his wife and, saves her. And now he's no longer running from her. He's now choosing to let this wife crawl after him. Yeah. So the next part of this journey is going to be, okay, how do I rectify everything with my wife, despite the fact that she's been zombified? How do I, despite I'm in this isolation, how do I find peace with all of the things that I'm responsible for doing, all the pain that I've caused, but then how do I also find peace with all the pain that I am currently receiving at the same time too? Yeah. So he's going to be traveling back through his past and, returning home, essentially. So he's returning back to his Ithaca. So that's what the story is really about. It's, that the idea that in order for you to move forward, you've got to go backwards. So
almost like a Dante Alighieri, almost like a Divine Comedy type thing.
Yeah,
in a way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I loved about, I love just going back into all these. This was an opportunity for me to just dive into mythology, to dive into Balinese Hindu mythology, to dive into Arthurian legend, to hear what great minds have to say about these human condition topics that we go through. Like as a man, you just start hitting these certain points that men have experienced for hundreds and hundreds of years, and now you get to just dive into these are what the greatest minds have tried to say about what you are experiencing. Wow. This is how they've tried to wrestle with it and tried to either just put it into words or put it into a play, like with Shakespeare just battling these huge intense the concepts, how do I verbalize it, and then how do I get these freaking actors to just jump on stage and convey it. And then with diving into what Homer has to say, and I'm a fan of listening to Jordan Peterson when he talks about just different mythologies, and what other what Joseph Campbell has to say about the journey of the hero. It's just it's just an opportunity to stretch your view of yourself and your view of what these great people have to say.
You're making me want to read some Homer, Plato, Socrates, and
right?
We could get you back and literally do a show on mythology. I fucking love it. I really do.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it's amazing, to have something like Joseph Campbell, to someone who's just been just so invested in just taking all of these concepts in and finding where, oh my gosh, like this is where they all intersect in these specific ways. Same thing. That's what I love about this, these Balinese Hindu mythologies, about these creatures, this battle between good and evil that's so eternal and that's happening every single day in you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's amazing. It's like it's not just something that's so far removed. It's just like this is a representation and giving you a deeper understanding of your relationship to whatever you believe in, whatever divine entity you might believe, but also how you relate to the people that are around you and yourself. And it's just like the opportunity to create Ithaca was just like, hey, you are going to learn so freaking much, and that's what's fun about it. You just learning.
If you've never heard of this musician, look her up, and all of her music is based on like global beliefs and ancient history, mythology, and everything. Lorena McKennitt.
Oh, right.
And she was born in Winnipeg, I think, Canada, but she has like Irish ancestral roots, and she travels the globe, and every song that woman writes is a story of old put into world music. You've got like everything from a hurdy-gurdy being played to it could be a gong and a harp, but it is fucking beautiful, and it's conveying the stories of old through the music. It is actually beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Badass.
Lorena McKennitt. But getting back to Ithaca, we do have a still of you during the winter scene, and that would be chapter 4.
Yep,
that's right. Yeah.
And so that image was
intense. That's an intense look.
Technical question: which camera took that image?
That was the Red Raven.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it was. I had no idea that icicles were actually forming in my hair when we were doing that. It was just something that I noticed that when we were going back through footage, I was like, "Holy fuck, that was
We call those a happy accident."
Right.
And I think I can't remember if I was talking to Joe about this, but we had lost. So that was a scene. That chapter we'd been waiting about 4 years to film that.
Wow.
Because, so for the first year, it was, we missed the snow. In this area, it get like 1 or 2 good snowstorms, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And you can never, at first we could never really predict them. And so the first time we filmed it, it was like bright blue sky. It was, there was just no intensity in the scene. Then it was the next year, it was like, okay, we don't know when we're going to have a snowstorm. And then when it did, we didn't have any crew. And then the next time it was like, oh, we just missed it again. And then the 4th time we just like finally nailed the date. But we had actually lost the location the day of the shoot. So the place that we were going to film, we had practiced, I knew exactly what I wanted, but the Parks and Rec person, I think, was like, we don't want any zombies or anything being filmed. We don't like the content, essentially. We don't want any sort of violence being filmed in our park. So this is while it's pouring snow, and I was like, it's perfect outside. Like, what the hell are we going to do? And Doug Henderson was just a freaking amazing guy who just calling everyone up, trying to find any location that we could find that was just trees, where you're not going to see any houses around, that that felt isolated. And then finally he got in touch with someone who was like, yeah, dude, you can film in our backyard. Problem is, it's 45 minutes away, and it's already been pouring snow, and we've got 5-6 inches of snow just on the roads, and they haven't been cleared. Ooh. So we're hustling over there to get to this location. We get there with 2-3 hours before the sun was going down, managed to film everything. We only had maybe 1-2 takes of each shot. And then the sun had gone down, and we just got our last shot, and we're just like, awesome. Cool. But now we've got but the thing was okay, now we got to get everyone back home safely in the dark.
Yeah. Was this filmed in the same day?
Yeah, yep. Yeah. So that was the day. Yeah.
So that's that was done on a 45-minute wing and a prayer. Wow.
That was just a lick and a prayer, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wicked, man. Well,
Yeah,
here's
that
an
is
open offer on my end, and I'm pretty sure Sean will give you the same one.
Hmm.
If at any point you need to do wintertime shots, fly yourself, cast and crew up. We will give you somewhere to stay. We'll take care of you. And Newfoundland is full prime on snow in the winter and
no
location.
lack of snow.
No lack of
snow.
film for winter here, buddy. And
Perfect.
there is trees everywhere.
Everywhere. We basically live in a place where we knock down trees to build a few houses around trees.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's
Basically.
amazing. Yeah, I know it sounds like really sad for me just to be like, oh, we had 5 inches of snow. You know, you're like,
we've got 5 inches of snow, and it's still coming. So
yeah, it's like too easy,
It's like-
too easy.
yeah.
If I still have the video on my phone from last winter that I sent Dan and Tyler,
Yeah.
I will send it to you in Messenger. I had to get a front end loader to come down my lane and plow us out because there was 6.5 feet of snow in the lane.
I had to shovel out because we had those 2 storms almost right like back to back. So the first time I've got pictures too. I'll send you one, Jay, on Facebook.
Yeah.
The entire front end of my Jeep was completely buried. So you could only see like the roof of my Jeep. And I had to go out and literally shovel my Jeep out. And then I finally got all this shoveling done. And 2 days later, we had another one and it covered it all over again. And I was destroyed. I was like, no, I don't even want to drive anywhere.
So Newfoundland called it Snowmageddon.
Yeah, so I will take you up on that offer. However, my wife is going to kill me because she's going to be the one who has to crawl through all this snow.
Right. Well, we can set something up. We can shovel a path out or something. Make it look a little less
amazing, dude. Like
I have family land. I'll say it that way. Family land with trees, no houses around that we could go to. You could use. Sean's got a cabin with a woods backyard. I mean, wintertime would be amazing for you here. I mean,
gosh, yeah, that sounds incredible, dude. I'm gonna take you up on that. You know, for me,
for
like
sure.
every time the weather is crappy in this area, I'm like, this is perfect filming weather. You know, I'm like this is Ithaca weather for me. So like every time we've got like just crappy rain or it's just a flurry or something like that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is perfect. If we could only have this for just longer. So that sounds freaking blast.
Well, we get about what, Sean? 5.5, 6 months of snow?
Yeah,
something like that.
It's crazy.
We basically have winter and then lately
Summer.
it's been better. Lately, I find there's not really a whole lot of room for spring or fall. It's just winter, and then it's not winter and it's nice out, and then it's winter again. It's like, oh, all right.
We have 2 seasons in Newfoundland, a summer and winter. We don't get much of a spring or much of a fall at all.
Yeah. About how cold does it usually get?
Well, we're in Celsius, so with what Sean, with wind chill, you could
with
hit like
wind chill minus 20. But I mean, it's considering there's other parts of Canada that get a lot colder.
Yeah.
So with us, we it doesn't get as cold, but we get dumped on with snow.
Yeah. So do you guys do like any sort of do you guys do any camping or like bushcraft stuff?
Not in the winter.
Not in the winter. It's just too cold. You probably wake up buried. You need to shovel your way out.
Yeah, you probably would. There'd be no problem to build like a lean-to, a bow cabin.
Yeah.
Make a little fire pit into it, have the snow around. And if you were looking for scenes like that, I mean, there's like zero issue making that kind of a scene happen here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Newfoundland is an island, so we are surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean if you ever needed to do shots out in a boat. So.
Out in a boat or like cliffs in an ocean. And like
I live 2 minutes away from a beach.
Yeah. There's a lot.
You guys have just you
Food for thought for you.
Thank you. That sounds awesome. That sounds amazing.
If
Well,
we
we
can
can-
do anything for location purposes or helping you out in any way, man, just do not hesitate to ask.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
can. Well, like I said, like Carl and I could even send you a few just shots of around here, just
Yeah.
some pictures. Like I've got pictures on my phone, even where it's just all like, "Hey, check this out."
God.
This is some of the scenery that's just all over the place here.
Yeah,
It's
just
great. It's a great place for filming anything, really. I find.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things where, for this, like, I want to be able to have that nice balance between, the horror genre and the adventure genre. But like one of the guys that, I really love is, Akira Kurosawa in terms of like, the way, there have been some great essays about it in terms of, or video essays about like how he uses environment to help tell the story.
Yeah.
But that being such, that being part of the adventure genre, just being into just uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And being, having these landscapes be the backdrop for, or really representing like what's going on in the character's mind. And, something like that would just be incredible.
Yeah.
So,
It's not quite New Zealand, which has everything you could possibly think of. But it's the next best thing. It's like the Wish version.
Right?
It's like the Wish version of New Zealand.
Right. Amazing.
Like I'm pretty sure there's enough good locations here, even from West Coast out to Central. They
Yep.
could have shot Middle Earth here.
Yeah.
In a few spots for sure.
Do you know we're doing any of the filming for the Amazon Lord of the Rings?
I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going back, and I had no idea if they were doing New Zealand again, or if they,
Are you familiar with Jason Momoa's Frontier?
I know of it. I haven't watched that yet.
That was filmed here.
That's all filmed here.
Yeah.
So that's something.
That'll give you an example. If you watch Frontier with Jason Momoa on Netflix, that'll give you an example. And every celebrity that I've talked to or got to know that ever visited here loves it here.
Oh yeah, they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. The hospitality here is insane. Like someone will meet you and then ask you down for a cooked meal and get you drunk.
That's great. I love that.
Right?
It's crazy. Just being in DC. It's changed over the last 10 years in terms of like I don't. It was one of those things where like as an actor, things were just moving very, very quickly. You had to be on top of everything. And then I ended up doing a Shakespeare tour down in North Carolina where once I got there, everyone was so over the top, laid back, chill as fuck. And I was just like on the edge of my seat for the first, few days I was there. I was like, something's got to happen, right? I'm waiting for someone to like throw a pie or something, and it just like, nope, we're just going to sit here and talk about jack shit. And then days I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love this. I love these people, and I just enjoy being able to do that. Just find the good homegrown people.
Yeah, well, that's Newfoundland in a nutshell with someone going here. Have a beer.
Yeah. Along those lines, that's what I've noticed when filming Ithaca was just we've been able to film in like 4 different states. But when you're able to talk with people who are just so intensely passionate about where they are from, like that is blast, when you just get to talk to them about like the history of the place or how involved with the community they are. It's just like, that's just one of the things that just makes filmmaking fun, filming at different locations when you're just able to find people who like give you reasons for you to just cheer for them in their place, and like,
they're usually the ones that know where all the great locations are as well. Because of that.
It's just like where do I go find a good drink?
Right.
That's right.
I find the funny thing too is, you can go on Google and search Newfoundland tourist attractions and all that. You're not going to find anything good listed there. You're going to see the same stuff everyone else sees, blah blah blah. But you find a good person that knows Newfoundland for all the hidden spots.
All the hidden
then
gems.
you're in for a treat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any like good like urban legends in the areas that you guys are in?
All over.
Really?
Filled with it. Yeah, it's
There's
insane.
a little island off of us called Bell Island,
Uh-huh.
and there you have a mine shaft over there that my grandfather worked in, and a lot of my family worked in over there. And all through my life growing up and being told stories about this Bell Island hag. Right?
Yeah, which is cool.
That's something for you to look up. Google Bell Island hag.
Yeah.
It's a ghost story.
Yeah, so the one that we have that's, near us, like 20 minutes away, it's the Bunny Man Bridge.
Okay.
And, yeah, so it's they have a whole bunch of different kinds of like versions of it. So essentially with the Bunny Man, one of the versions that I had heard was he was a guy who had raised, a lot of bunnies. And then there were these kids who would come by and just brutally kill bunnies or whatever. And, him going psycho or something like that started taking these kids and hanging them over this bridge known as the Bunny Man Bridge. It's one of those things where you go up there late at night. When you drive through this tunnel, you're supposed to keep your headlights down, and you're supposed to see the Bunny Man, say Bunny Man 3 times, something like that. But that's kind of like the best thing that we have over here. Or it was a guy who escaped the mental or the Lorton prison, and I don't know, killed bunnies and started wearing them and started hassling kids, by this bridge. It's an urban legend. It's one of those things where like no one knows what the truth is, but like that's the best that we have over here.
Which is still it works.
Yeah.
Sean, we're going to have to hook Jay up with one of the local authors' books on the Newfoundland ghost stories and send it down to him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
That kind of stuff. I really am.
Yeah,
we'll discuss amongst us because there are a lot of authors here, and we'll discuss which avenue to go with on an author. We'll pick out a book and we'll ship it to you.
That's so cool. I'd love that.
Yeah. All right. Well,
only if I can get a signed headshot of.
That one.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
you better believe it.
Right.
That's amazing.
So, man, like I am stoked is an understatement for the rest of this series, because when Sean told me I was going to enjoy it, I was like, okay. And
I
now
basically
I'm like,
bugged him to watch it too. Dude, dude, watch it. Dude.
Yeah, and I am now like, okay, it's not okay, it's fucking great.
Thank you. And I'll tell you what, like Eduardo is just like, is such a cool guy. I'll chat with him and see and Jamie Nash and see, if whenever they're available, they've got busy schedules, but if there's any time that they'll be able to come and chat with you guys, I'll send you some of the posters with them signing it too, with Eduardo signing it. Yeah.
Nice. That'd be great. I'd like to have you next time we have you back on. If you're up for coming back on, I'd like to try and get your wife on as well. I know that we tried to arrange it for this episode, but it didn't work out. But it would be cool to have her on as well. And if she's up for it, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny just because she has her own take on the whole thing, because for some of the scenes, she's pregnant. For some of those scenes, like, when there's a flashback where I'm holding her, rubbing her belly, and we both respond to a baby kicking. That's actually us rubbing her pregnant belly and feeling our daughter actually kicking against our hands, and us actually being like, holy crap. So
that's amazing.
That
wasn't done for film. That was legit.
That was legit.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That to be in the film, the girl in there, that's our daughter. So. So for all of us, it's just something where it's our own kind of family film, but her perspective on it is so much different, just because as a wife, she's just been phenomenal. And I had posted a video a few weeks ago about it's pretty much just her talking about 4 tips of being supporting someone who's in film, supporting your loved one who's in film. And she's just got such beautiful things to say. about what it's like to support your loved one who is just like in for blood, who's just in this and is just willing to just do whatever. So yeah, like let's totally make that happen, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get you guys both on, and like Sean asked, I mean, if you're willing to come back, I mean,
Nice.
I want to have you back, man. I could talk to you.
Too easy.
Right?
Awesome.
I could talk to you for hours, literally, like leave film alone and just talk.
Just talk about everything shit. Yeah.
No, fuck yeah, dude. We'll have.
How did I not talk to you before?
Have a few drinks and and chat back and forth.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, we'll just do one of these not live and just sit around and shoot the shit one time.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and that's just that's what it's about. That's what I'm about. Being able to connect with so many people and just be like, holy crap, you love film? I do too. Let's make this happen.
Right.
Nice.
And actually, I think I saw one of your. I saw your short too. I think that you had sent me, Sean. It was. I think it was done in your house.
It was in our friend Sean's house. It was our first attempt of a short with a couple of friends of mine.
Yeah,
and that was it was fun. It was interesting, and that was my daughter who played in that as well. Yeah.
Oh, Sleep Tight.
Yeah, Sleep Tight.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, and there was a fun shot in there too, where I think it was someone's being dragged away.
Yeah,
and I think there was kind of like a POV angle of it that just like I thought it was just like super super cool. I loved that. I thought it was that's something that I was like I might use that shot.
Right? Nice. Yeah, well, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to it. It was it was just it was us playing around, and we also like no budget, so we were just messing around with some stuff.
Yeah, that's where it's that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
The movie market is so much bigger in the States.
The what market?
Yeah.
The movie market is so much bigger in the States. I mean, like even indie wise.
Yeah.
Now Newfoundland is coming on with more people presenting forward, and Newfoundland is gaining ground a lot compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, oh my God. I mean, me and Sean have mutual friends that now are doing projects that are released on Troma. And Lloyd Kaufman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
and it's crazy, but I mean, like also just the time period that we're in with all of this, the whole pandemic thing. It's just like, I think I remember saying something to Joe about it. I was just like, look, we're in a time where like Christopher Nolan, this amazing director, creates this huge spectacle of a movie that like I just can't wait to see with Tenet, and to have something like that be struggling to bring theater viewers in.
Yeah.
So like people are just like sitting on their butts, just constantly binge watching. Okay, I'm done with Tiger King. I'm done with just like what's the next thing? But it's also given an opportunity for people who are just like independent filmmakers, like a bit of to rely on the resources, to be to be resourceful, to improvise, to be organic with what's going on, and just be like, okay, I'm just going to try to make something happen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
In this last year, I've said it multiple times to different people. Indie is starting to become the new Hollywood.
Yeah, it seems
it really is.
I'm still working on my craft.
Well, I mean, everyone is. If anyone ever says they know everything and know it all, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
You constantly learn every time you turn on a camera or get in front of a camera. It's a learning curve every time.
Yeah, absolutely. If you definitely come to it with the right mindset too, and it's like, I noticed that with Netflix from a while ago. It's just like that sometimes people are like, now I think people are just more interested in seeing the arc of a character over several episodes as opposed to like the 90-minute format. And that's cool because one, I think it's really kind of changing how stories are told. I mean, they have those formats of like the Save the Cat 90-minute format of how you write a script. People talk about, is it a 60-page script? Is it a 90-page script or whatever?
Yeah.
But the fact that, Netflix has given an avenue for so many different types of stories to be told from so many perspectives, and now you add in, you know, short mini series that people are just throwing up on YouTube, to the fact that someone can just do like a stupid like TikTok video that's 20 seconds long. It just changes how stories can be told, and that's just like that's badass, you know?
Yeah.
And it also says something about just like our mindset and our patience as well. You know, we're used to sitting through 90 minutes, and like now we're just like, hey, I just want to look at a meme, you know?
Attention spans are gone.
The psychology for us is changing, like in how we, you know, interact with media, and that's just like it's an interesting time.
Yeah, it is, and it's funny you bring that up too, because like especially if you look at films, especially horror films from say like the 70s, it is a lot more of a slow burn building up, and a lot of people like in this day and age with their attention spans will probably watch the first 10 minutes and go, "This is boring. Nothing's happening. This sucks." And it's like, no, but you gotta wait. It's like, for what?
Yeah.
And times have changed. Yeah.
So many classic films wouldn't even get a chance nowadays.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You know, but it's just like I definitely have to keep coming back to those films, because they're just like, you know. So I introduced my wife to Evil Dead 2 for the first time last night, and at first she was like, "Oh, do I really need to watch this?" I was like, "Babe, you have no idea." You know?
And did she like it?
Oh my gosh, she was crazy about it. Yeah, like after, you know, I had to explain it to her a little bit. She's just like, "This is really campy," and I was like, yes, like, you know, it's like we've never seen a character, you know, we see these creepy ghosts in all sorts of movies where they have that creepy smile and they're laughing and people are running away. It's like, let's see how this guy like out psychos the psycho, you know, like how fucking crazy can this guy get compared to, and it's just like, you know, it's such a fun character, you know.
Oh, it is. Yeah, Bruce Campbell is the man. For sure.
He's the chin.
The chin.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Well, guys, man, I don't have a clue where the time went. We're at an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is
that's
about
what
that
happens
time
when you have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this again. I'm gonna have a drink with me. We'll talk shit about movies and all sorts of stuff. Like I can't wait.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And
like, again,
I'm dying to get to where you guys are in Newfoundland.
Yes, for sure. You have to come by and check it out.
You'd love it here.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And look at it this way. And the other flip side of it too is one of us, me or Sean, you know, might be me. I run a horror event, a horror con here in the province. I just actually postponed it today. It was supposed to happen next weekend, and it killed me to do it, but we had to do it. So.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But
which is unfortunate.
You know, maybe in 2021 or 2022 or something. You know, if it's feasible or whatever. You know, we might see Jay Saunders at a NL HorrorCon one of these days.
Fucking A.
Right,
guys. Yeah.
I do have one last question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Are you making any pitches or plans for any pitches to any platforms?
So
if you can speak on it.
Yeah. So actually, the first one that we had done was, you know, we went the Quibi route.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't pan out. But that's okay. So like right now, we're focused on one, being able to share this with as many people as possible, because one, it helps us to be able to, you know, when we talk about season 2, to say, hey, we have this history of success and we have people who are loyal to Ithaca and want to see where the story goes and are like, hey, let's see what happens when these guys actually have a budget and access to more resources. Let's see what these guys can do. Yeah. And, you know, right now we're just I'm spending a lot of time just working on the script, talking, doing all these interviews with, like I said, with people in different fields to just get an idea of, like, I'm just trying to immerse myself in what they do so I can better tell this story.
Nice.
So it's, you know, I'm wearing multiple hats at the same time. So you know, we'll see. You know, the idea, the hope for, you know, season 2 is to be able to do like 30-minute to 45 or 50-minute format so that it can better fit with some of these other platforms. But it'll be cool to like have people see season 2 and then be like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me check out like what season 1 was like. These small little bits. Oh, cool. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
With the ambition you have towards this, man, and the way the story is going, the way now that I know you start at literally ground zero.
Yep.
No budget, and you turned out something that was worth watching. You have me enthralled waiting for the next season. If you would have had to tell me, no, we were done, we are not doing season 2, I would be heartbroken. I'd be like, no.
As would I.
I'd get a message. I would have gotten a message earlier today. Yeah, so we're going to have to cancel the show today.
Yeah.
because I'm petty.
He's like, we're going to make a trip to DC and kill this asshole.
Right?
Bring out a codfish and beat him with a cod.
Yeah, I know. It's like, we're just going to kidnap him, bring him to Newfoundland, and have him just sit in the fucking snow.
Yeah. We'll give you beer, though, so,
We'll be nice about it.
We'll be nice about it, at least. Canadians, right?
And Canadian beer is stronger than American beer.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Nice. Right, so everybody who's watching, make sure you check out Ithaca. It's on YouTube. We will post the link in the description, or in the comments, I should say. And, perfect. Thank you very much, Sean. Also, VHS 2. Check out VHS 2. Your boy Jay Saunders is in it. Go check it out. If you haven't yet.
Oh, and we shamelessly didn't do our plug. If anyone wants to help us keep the lights on in the studio and support Ramblings of a Madman, feel free to head on over to our page. And we are doing pre-orders on our patches, which are 3x5, and they are extremely high quality. And they are $7 US, and that includes shipping.
Shipping anywhere. Yep.
Anyway, so there we are. We will be in contact sooner rather than later. I'm probably going to message you right after this anyway. I got a couple of things I'm going to send to you. And
of course. Likewise.
I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much, Jay.
Hey, guys, this was an absolute blast. I can't wait to do it again.
Thank you. I had a crappy day canceling my event, and dude, you made my night. Thank you.
Likewise, man.
Awesome. All right.
So till what, man? Until next Thursday.
Till next Thursday. And adios, Jay. Thanks so much again.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Take care.